Hello, viewers. You're welcome to our YouTube channel once again at Opsin One TV. Yes, we want to continue with the topic we were once discussing. It is about perimeter, a mathematics topic. Please, before we go ahead, I want to implore you to please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and comment. Put your comments there in case you have any question. Then please, you can always as well do well to share our videos to friends and to your words. All right, as they get to learn more about perimeter. Today, like I said, we are continuing on the topic perimeter. This particular topic is actually meant for JSS1 students as a way of continuation of what they have learned from their primary school as regards plane shapes, regular and irregular shapes, how to measure perimeter how to measure the perimeter of a regular or an irregular shape, depending on the one you are given. Okay, but it is all the same concept. Measuring perimeter means that you are just to measure the border, the outer border line of any shape given you, just like we gave the definition in our last class. Okay, today, like I said, we are focusing more on using formulae to calculate perimeter, using formula to calculate perimeter. All right. Okay. Here we are starting looking at the application of formulae to understanding perimeters. And the first shape we'll be looking at is the rectangle. So we are starting with rectangles. Like we know, a rectangle is a four-sided shape like this. It's a quadrilateral. It has the longer side being referred to as the length, the shorter side being referred to as the breadth. Okay? Sometimes they call it the width, the breadth, or the width, like it is spelled width. All right. The length talks about how long something is, while the breadth talks about how wide something is. The breadth, the width, talks about how wide something, a shape is. Length talks about how long a shape is. And the breadth talks about how wide the shape is. Now, from the definition we had in the previous class, to determine the perimeter of a shape like this, we told us that we are going to take our meter rule, our ruler, to measure from this vertex to this vertex here. And in this case, that is what we refer to as the length here. We'll take note of that reading. Take our ruler again, measure from this vertex here to this vertex here. That is where we call the breadth. That is the edge we refer to as the breadth. Okay, we take note of that reading too. Take our meter rule again, measure from this vertex to this other vertex. That is also the length. So long as this place is referred to as the length and it is of the same size as this other side here, that is the case, that is the way it is in rectangles. So this side and this side are equal in value, are equal in size. So that means this is also length. So we are also going to take our ruler to measure from here to here. That means this is our length, another length as well. So we take our meter rule to measure from this vertex to this vertex. We take note of that reading too. Of course, we should bear in mind that the value we obtain from here should also be equal to the one we obtain from here. Why? Because we are dealing with a rectangle whose length from one side is going to be equal to the length on the other side. So that is that. Okay, we take note of the reading of our measurement from this vertex to this vertex. All right. Then we take our ruler again to measure from this vertex to this vertex. That is going to be the same value as our breadth here, because they are expected to be the same. That is the case. That is the case we are having in a rectangle, where this side is expected to be equal to this side. This side is expected to be equal to this side. So if this place is referred to as our breadth, so long as it is going to be equal to this place, this is also our breadth. So this value here is supposed to be equal to this value. Now, to determine the perimeter now, it is now our responsibility from what we did in the last class to add the 4 values we have obtained from the border, from the outer border of this shape. Add this length together with this breadth here, the value we get from this breadth here. We add that together with the value of the length we obtain here, and to the value of the breadth we obtain here. And for us to write that down, we go this way. We write perimeter of rectangle equals the value of the length, which I'll be representing with letter L now, plus the value of the breadth, which I shall be representing with letter B now, plus the value of the length here, the other side here, which I will also be representing with letter L, so long as it has the same value as the first L, and added together to the value of the other breadth here, which I shall also be representing with letter B, because it is expected to have the same value as this other breadth. Okay, so the next thing for us to do now is to rearrange such that like terms can come closer to each other. Alright, so here we are going to be having L plus L plus B plus B. That is the rearranging that we are expected to do. Okay, so the next thing is now to do the sum. Add them together. L plus L, we know that to be 2L. Then plus B plus B, that is 2B. So this is a formula that we can use to determine the value of the perimeter of the rectangle. But we can further make it look simpler by factorizing it. So by determining the factors here. So we can write this and say the perimeter of rectangle equals, when we factorize, we look at what is common from both sides and know that that is 2 is common between 2L and 2P. So 2 open bracket L plus B. That is the formula that is actually most common for most people to use in determining the perimeter of a rectangle. From this formula, From this formula, we can calculate the perimeter of a rectangle when we have the value of the length and that of the breadth given us already in whatever exercise we are engaged in. So let's take a look at some examples that pertain to the perimeter of a rectangle. Okay, this is an example on the board. Calculate the perimeter of a rectangular garden that measures 50 meters by 20 meters. Okay, for those who don't know, it is important we understand that the values given us here represent our length and our breadth. The bigger value is the one that indicates our length, while the smaller value is the one that indicates our breadth. That is the way it is in rectangles. When you are given two values that represent the sides of a rectangle, we should know that the bigger value is the one that represents the length of the rectangle, while the smaller value represents the breadth of the rectangle. Okay, let's see how we solve this. First is for us to identify, of course, like I normally say to my students. I try to understand what the question is saying. I read slowly and try to understand. Calculate the perimeter. That statement tells us something. I write that down. They want us to calculate perimeter. Then I indicate what perimeter is. We symbolize perimeter with letter P, small letter P. We want to calculate perimeter. That is, we don't know the perimeter of a rectangular garden that measures 50 meters by 20 meters. From what I said earlier, the bigger value is our length, and that is 50 meters. So we are going to write length is 50 meters, and the smaller value is the breadth, right? B equals 20 meters. Now, if we have this the way it is, what can we say about solving the perimeter? We bring our formula in. The formula for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle. And the formula for calculating the perimeter of our rectangle is, we say, using P equals 2 into brackets L plus B. Using P equals 2 into bracket L plus B. Don't forget that I said that we can decide to use this other formula. Using P is equal to L plus B plus L plus B. We can decide to use that. So we are just going to write P is going to be equal to 50 plus 20 plus 50 plus 20. We are going to get the same thing. But I want to use this formula. It's my choice. You can decide to use this, or this one that I'm using now. So it doesn't matter. We are all going to arrive at the same answer. All right. Now, using P equals 2 into bracket L plus B, I'm going to divide this space so that we can continue from this side. Using P is equal to 2 into bracket L plus B. We are looking for P. We have the value of L and we have the value of B. So we insert those values into the formula as this. P equals 2 into bracket. Our L is 50 meters. So we write 50 meters plus our B is 20 meters. Right, 20 meters. What next is we are going to add those two values together. 50 meters plus 20 meters. That gives us 70 meters. And then we multiply 2 by 70 meters. This bracket suggests to us that we are going to multiply what is here by what is inside the bracket. So we are going to have P equals 2 times 70 meters, that is 140 meters. So our perimeter is 140 meters. That is the answer to the first example. Okay, here is another question, another example. In this example, we are asked to determine two things. There are two questions in one. The first one says that we should determine the length of the rectangle if the breadth is 40 meters. We are given the breadth of that rectangular field, and then we are given the perimeter as well. So we are asked to determine the length. We read the question again. A rectangular field has a perimeter of 168 meters. We are given the perimeter. Find the length of the rectangle if the breadth is 40 meters. Let us solve that first. Solution. Like I said, we interpret the rectangular field has a perimeter of 168 meters. Right. P equals 168 meters. That is what we have written down. That is what was mentioned in the question. Now we have to find the length. Find the length. That is, we mentioned L is what we don't know. The length of the rectangle. Find the length of the rectangle if the breadth is 40 meters. If the breadth is 40 meters. What do we do here? We don't forget we are solving the A part of the question. So let us indicate it here. Sorry. So that is it. All right. A. P is equal to 168 meters. Length equals what we don't know. B is 40 meters. So here we are going to just apply our formula as usual. We write the formula out. Say using P equals 2 into bracket length plus breadth. This is the formula I want to use. Now, if we are using this formula, it means that all the details we have here, we are going to insert them into this formula. Now that means from our question, we have been given P as 168 meters. That means if we are going to be writing this formula now, anywhere we see P in this formula, we change it to 168 meters. All right. Now, L, we don't know. So we let L remain the same. B is 40 meters. So anywhere we see B in our formula, we change it to 40 meters. That is what is expected of us. So let's see what we are going to do. Using P equals, so P changes to what? P changes to 168 meters. So we are no longer writing P, we are writing 168 meters. Then we write equal sign. Then we write 2. Then we write L. What's the value of our L? We don't know. So let us retain it as L plus what's the value of our B? 40 meters. 40 meters. Next thing is to remove this bracket by using the 2 to multiply everything inside the bracket. So we are going to have 168 meters equal to 2 times L, that is 2L, plus 2 times 40 meters, that's 80 meters. Now, we rearrange connect like terms and let 2L remain on one side, 80 meters leave that place. Okay, the 80 meter crosses the equal sign to the other side here. So we're going to be having 168 meters minus 80 meters. Of course, the plus sign changes because it is crossing the equal sign. So equals 2L. Now 168 meters. Now 168 meters minus 80 meters. That is giving us 88 meters equals 2L. The next is to divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides. Divide both sides by 2. We have 88 meters equals 2L. Divide both sides by 2 this way. Here, 2 cancels 2 here, 2 cancels 2 here. 2 cancels here, and here we have 44. So what we have there, we write that therefore L is equal to 44 meters because that is the only thing left. 2 has cancelled 2 here. We are left with only L here. That is the L. Equals 2 has cancelled 88 here to remain 44. So L equals 44. We could have written 44 equals L. That is the same thing. 44 equals L. Yes, that's correct. Then we just have to rewrite. Since 44 equals to L, then L is also equal to 44 meters. That is that. About that. Okay, the B part of the question is what we are going to solve now. We are going to read the question again. A rectangular field has a perimeter of 168 meters. Find. We don't have any business with A anymore. Find the breadth of the rectangle. Let's start again. A rectangular field has a perimeter, P, of 168 meters. Find the breadth of the rectangle. The breadth. Find the breadth of the rectangle, which means we don't know B. If the length is 60 meters, length is 60 meters. As usual, we go to get one of our formulas for solving the perimeter of a rectangle. So I using, okay, I want to change the formula this time. I want to use P equals 2L plus 2B. It's my choice for changing the formula. It's not as if I cannot use any other formula. I just want us to diversify. I just want us to use something different so that we can know that we can try any one of them and we'll still get the same answer. So using P equals 2L plus 2B. Next thing is to start inserting those data into our formula. P is 168, so anywhere we see it from in our formula, we change it to 168. Okay, so here is P here. We want to write P now. I don't write P, I write 168 meters. 168 meters equals 2L. What is L? 60 meters. So I don't write 260 meters, no. What we write is 2L refers to 2 times L. 2 times L. So I write 2 times, I use my bracket as times L. What is L now? 60 meters. Plus 2 times B. What's our B? We don't know. So we leave it like that. 2 times B is still 2B. Okay, now let us solve. We have 168 meters equals 2 times 60 meters gives us 120 meters plus 2B. Collect like terms. Let us have it as 168 meters 120 meters is coming to meet 120, 168 meters from that side to this side. It's crossing the equal sign. So the sign for 120 meters is going to change to the opposite. So the plus sign that is with 120 meters here becomes minus when it gets here. 120 meters equals 2b. Now we have 168 minus 120. That gives us 48 meters equals 2b. Of course, we can rearrange, but let us just move on and divide both sides by 2. Okay, so let me conclude it here. Dividing both sides by 2, I'm going to have 48 meters equals 2b. I'm rewriting this here. Now divide both sides by 2 makes me to divide both sides by 2, where 2 cancels 2 here, and then these 2 can divide this 48 to give us 24 here. That makes me to write 24 meters equals b, which I can rewrite therefore as b equals 24 meters. That communicates that the breadth we are looking for in this particular question is 24 meters. So that is just another example. This is where we call it a day. I want to believe that we have learned and we have understood better how to use formula to solve questions that pertain to the perimeter of a rectangle. But before we go, I will like to give us some practice exercises to do from our textbooks. If you have New General Mathematics, I will write it on the board now, the exercise that you get yourselves engaged in. Okay, here is the revision exercise that we can practice on our own to see how far we have learned to understand and to make us to understand better how to solve questions regarding perimeters of rectangle. So next class we will be looking at some other shapes, the perimeter of some other shapes, square, a circle, and possibly some other quadrilaterals. Till then, if you have any question pertaining to any of these or our previous works, please endeavor to leave your comments down there. Put your comment in there, I'll see it, I'll respond. If you want to message me directly on my WhatsApp line, you can message me via WhatsApp, and my WhatsApp number again is 080 324 92078. Again, 080 324 92078. Thank you as you reach out to us. Before we go, please endeavor to remember to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share to as many as you can to learn more. Till next time that we come your way, enjoy the rest of your day.